And we are live. So hello everyone, this is New Year's Rockin' Eve Guide 2003. NYRE Guide 2003. And we're back doing this again. So as you guys know, we are less than 40 days away from the start of 2025. Last year, I did a little series where I'd go live a few times and update you guys on what was going on in the whole situation right before the ball drop. We're going to do the exact same thing this year. And before I want to thank you guys, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support you've given me on the channel for the last year or so. We managed to get over 200 subscribers this year alone, which is a new record. So now let's just get into it. We have a lot to talk about today because this is the first stream and there's already been so much happening. First of all, a small update on the situation with... So a tiny update with the construction on One Times Square. Now, this year, construction has gone very fast and has made significant progress to the point where you can start to see a lot of the details you saw on the concepts. The most recent advancement was the east screen on the east of One Times Square has been enabled, and I think they're working on one other screen right now. And just recently, that ribbon, the LED ribbon with a bunch of patterns on the deck, has turned on. It's supposed to go all the way across that deck and down into the bottom of the building. The first little bit has turned on, and we are expecting a lot more to turn on right before New Year's Eve. I do wonder when they're gonna stop overall working on the building so they can just prepare for New Year's Eve, because I saw that last year with them setting up this billboard, which has now been on for about a little over a year now. So congratulations to that. I forgot there were two East screens. Thanks for updating me on that, MP. And a lot of the glass facade on basically the entirety of the tower at this point has been completed, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and One Times Square is still looking for a opening date in late 2025. So by the 2026 ball drop, so next year, we should be seeing the completed version of the building. There's a lot of new ads on this top screen and the bottom screen, as well as ads being shown on the side screen, the east screen of One Times Square. Right now, there are 4 billboards in the square, on the tower. The upper screen, which is the one that was installed at this time last year, started to turn on and play adverts, so all that. And then we have the Samsung billboard at the very bottom. We used to call it the long bottom billboard. And the 2 new screens installed on the east. So it's the Samsung billboard. In the concepts, you saw that the Samsung billboard was actually split into one long billboard and a tiny little small billboard. right at like the 80% up point, there should be like a little split, and the rest should be its own billboard. No word if that's actually going to happen, but if it were to happen, it would be pretty interesting. So, yeah, the construction for One Times Square is going smoothly. I think we might have a little bit more, a lot more stabilization, definitely. Because last New Year's Eve, the entire building was just one big construction site. And very rusty and very old. So, they did very well. They did a very good job on cleaning all the rust up and renovating the tower once again. Some of these beams have not moved since 1903, believe it or not. I think the least billboards that One Time Square has ever had was probably earlier last year, like 2023, after they got rid of the Toshiba Vision screen and the upper screen, the screen right below the Toshiba Vision screen. Now we've got at least 4 billboards and a possible 5th coming soon, but part of me doubts it's going to be that they're going to work on splitting that billboard apart. If they do split it apart, I doubt it's going to be before New Year's Eve, because that seems like a bit of a risk to take, given that one of the most important days for that building is in just over a month. So yeah. Second, some of my friends told me about this. The schedule for events going on in Times Square New Year's Eve has been released in some sort of way. It was a press release from One Times Square, live TV feed, and B-roll information for New Year's Eve in Times Square. And it came with a little schedule of events, some of which are much different from those in years before. Usually it would be, like, to the best of my knowledge, here's what I remember. December 1st would be the wishing wall. 1st, 3rd, something around that area. December 20th would be when the numerals arrived. They would leave on December 23rd. They would get installed on December 26th. December 27th would be the crystal installation, or in last year's case, ball programming, or the unveiling of the new pattern. And December 28th would be the Good Riddance Day, 29th, the confetti test, 30th, the ball test, and you all know what happens on 30th is the ball test and the balloon inflation. And the 31st, that's the celebration. That is what it would look like in any year before now. This year, we have a very special, different schedule according to the press release, and here it is. So, December 3rd will be the wishing wall, which is pretty similar. December 18th will be the numeral arrival this year. December 19th will be the new crystal display, which means that we are getting new crystals on the ball this year. We did not get that last year due to the end of the contract with Waterford. So we don't know who's going to be making these new crystals and how they're going to be made, but we know there's going to be something involving crystals. And that's on December 19th. December 26th will be the numeral installation. The crystals that were unveiled on the 19th will be installed on the 27th. Good Riddance Day on the 28th. This 29th will be the confetti test, ball test, balloon preps on December 30th, and New Year's Eve is on, well, you know when it is. So the numeral arrival and the new crystal display are completely new dates, and the new crystal display is the newest event. So it'll be very interesting to see how that will work and how all of that will just go by. Next, I want to talk about a little issue I realized. If you look at the amount of sponsors on every site, you only see 4. Those 4 sponsors, by the way, they're already practically confirmed. So right now, as of now, your Times Square 2025 sponsors are Planet Fitness, Carnival Cruise Lines, Kia, and the Sino-American Friendship Association, which have all been the ones that were here for more than 1 year, which is actually kind of interesting to say the least, because now we have some of the least sponsors we've seen in a while, being just the 4. So unless they shockingly announce a bunch of new sponsors right now, it's gonna be and I want to say finally, because there's not, yeah. Now I want to talk about the broadcasting things for New Year's Eve. So Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve is one of the most well-known ways that one of the most well-known broadcasters of the Times Square ball drop. And this year, as always, they will be doing their coverage in Times Square and will be broadcasting their oh, interesting. I forgot about the new Fortnite partnership. I actually don't know where the source was, but can you let me know about that whenever you can? The source of the Fortnite thing. But here's what I see. 2 networks are guaranteed to televise once the ball drop. ABC and CBS are the most likely to. ABC doing New Year's Rockin' Eve as always for the last 53 years now. Oh. um. Okay, the source was the right on the screen. You heard it there first, top screen. Oh, sounds interesting. I'll check that out if it pops up. But yeah, New Year's Rockin' Eve's gonna be doing its thing. Nashville's Big Bash on CBS will be doing its thing, and will most likely be broadcasting from Times Square as they have for the last 2 years. 2022 they didn't do that, but 2023 and 2024 they did, so it's very likely they'll do it again. It's also likely that CNN will be doing their New Year's Eve show with most likely Anderson Cooper and hold on. Yeah, it'll be most likely Anderson Cooper and of course Andy Cohen. No word on what NBC plans to do this year.